All right, shalom, shalom. First things first, I want to give our honor and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Echak We say, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahushai, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahushai, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahushai, Bahashem Echak And we give double honors to our apostles and our elders, which are apostle elders, great millstone, which feed us with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding through the spirit and power of Yahbashim Yahushai. Let's jump right into it. 2026. All right, beautiful year that we're coming to. A lot of things are going to take place. The year of apostates, spies, and sellouts. Okay. The time we are now is that judgment is coming to the house of Esau, and redemption, salvation is coming to the Israelites, the house of Jacob. All right. You Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which are spread out through the four corners of the planet Earth, however you may look like, through the descendant of your father. Okay. The time we are now is that everything you see taking place is a changing of worlds, a changing of rulership, and these Edomites, we're talking to the higher end Edomites, not the lower end. All right, the lower end Edomites are not privy to this information. All right, because Esau don't let everybody into this information. That's why there's things called secret societies, all these things that are involved with the left-hand side of magic and different things like that. All right, but the main point is that Yahweh Shem Shai is redeeming the elect and giving us back the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and allowing us to see the judgment that was placed on us be placed on our enemies, those that hate us. Okay, so this video is going to be titled E is the New N. All right, and read between the lines. All right, E is the new N. All right. I would say I'd rather be an Nigga. Esau's that he's the new one, because the word and the byword that was placed on us by the way which you call Negro was a byword that was placed on us. Now E is becoming that. He's becoming the new proverb byword amongst the nations, among his own ranks. All right, he's losing his power. So all these things that are happening is putting him into the ranks of what's pre-slavery for Esau. He's already lost. For us having this truth, for us standing on the corners, for us doing lessons, going into the Bible, he's lost. That right there is a culmination of losing. Just like when you play a game and you're beating a team 75-4, and it's the fourth quarter. There's not enough points in the game, or there's not enough time in the game for the other team to score enough points to beat the other team. It's a solidified victory, but we have to wait for the clock to run out. So it's a solidified victory. That's why everything that Esau does is losing, from vocab Malone, from all these other movements that were set up under the guise of a CIA op or whatever it is. It's lost. It hasn't bear forth fruit, because if it's of man, namely the Edomites. It's of man. That's why none of those things flourish. Just like it was said in the scriptures, if this be of man, it shall come to naught. So all those movements, all those different things that came up to put Jake in a deeper sleep or to pacify Jake, they came to naught. But this truth has flourished in a way that Esau did not anticipate. He didn't anticipate different stars getting a hold of it. He didn't anticipate the internet getting a hold of it and running with it. Even though you got guys that are speaking against this truth, it's still being spoken of. So I'm going to play this video. This is fair use, fair use. This is for educational purposes only. This is not for any kind of monetary gain. You're going to see her speak. You're going to see a few Edomites speak. That's the thing you got to say. This ain't touching. Jake been catching hell. We haven't been on any kind of level for a long time. But for Edomites and those that are, even if they're confusion of face, they've able to play that card, the confusion of face card, well enough to live all right, a little bit above Jake, if not a lot of above Jake, especially if they got a two salary household or two payroll household. They can live pretty good. But a lot of the times, Jake, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, they're having to live at a scarcity with a one-parent household. You know, it's one person working and paying the bills, you don't have time to save money or put something to the side. So let's go ahead and play this video. Like I said, this is fair use for educational purposes only.
Corporate America, we are tired.
It just seems like there's so much chaos and so much going on in the world.
Being around people it's not the same any longer.
This country is just one big ass experiment.
How is this even possible?
This is beyond a political issue. It has become a humanitarian and a health issue.
We just quietly adjusted to less joy, less hope, less expectation from life itself.
People are quietly giving up right now, and nobody's really talking about it. But maybe it's time that we should.
People used to look forward to things in life. They used to look forward to the weekend. They'd look forward to the next year. They'd look forward to hobbies that they enjoy, going out socially. But as time is going by, a lot of people are online voicing their opinions, stating that they are not looking forward to much anymore.
Who feels like when you meet new people nowadays, they no longer possess normal human emotions? And it's terrifying. I'm talking like passion, empathy, remorse. They do not care about anything that you're saying. They are in their own world. It's so hard for them to hold on a conversation. They're so robotic. Things have changed fast and drastically. Who agrees with me? It's actually really scary.
I seen a post.
And old girl was like that. Very robotic. You hear it in her voice. It's very, just go back and listen. It's a very robotic type of, even when they're trying to describe something that's not robotic, they're robotic because there's no life in this environment that you see today. What you see happening right now is a pseudo blessing, like the elders say. It's a blessing that's been orchestrated to fit a narrative it's not natural. All right, it's natural for Esau to be a slave. That's why you have the Bauer, all these different attributes that come with Esau. He's a natural born slave. He's not meant to. That's why the book of Psalms says that it's not right for a slave to rule over a king. All right, I'm paraphrasing, but it's not right for that to happen, okay?
They're in their own world. It's so hard for them to hold on a conversation. They're so
She's robotic. Listen to her.
Robotic. Things have changed fast and drastically. Who agrees with me? It's actually really scary.
I seen a post from somebody who said they went to New York for the ball drop and like nobody was cheering, nobody was excited, that it's a new year like normal. That's because nothing is normal. We are not living in normal times, but there are so many people who are pretty much forcing normal in reality.
Let's go past
life is normal.
They just don't.
Normal shit, they're going to keep going and going and going.
I'm guessing that it's not just me. Does anybody else feel like they just don't care about anything anymore? Like completely unmotivated? I don't feel like cleaning up. I don't feel like going anywhere. I don't feel like talking to anyone. I just feel like everything has shifted. Like I'm on a new timeline and nothing is caught up to me and nothing feels interesting or valid or worth doing. I don't feel depressed. I just feel like, where the am I?
Nobody talks about the phase after burnout. And I think that's where most of us are right now.
See, you're seeing a culmination because these Edomites, just like when I'm talking about the Israelites, were not used to that. We've always been in slavery, but there was a generation that came into pass that was not used to losing everything, especially after the time of Solomon. That was the hardest time because we haven't been on top or been established in a flourishing nation to that caliber in a long time. So when the time of Solomon, those that were used to that prolacious, that was used to that good life, it was hard, all right? So how much more now these Edomites that have been used to a certain status, they've been used to a certain easy streak. Now that easy streak's coming to an end. Yeah, Jake, we're catching hell. Jake, you Israelites, you just gonna catch more hell. You've been in hell. We're not telling you anything that you can argue with. You think times have been tough. If times get tough, they're just gonna be tougher. They're not just going to be tough. These Edomites are going through tough times because they've never experienced, because their parents and those before them have experienced the easy street because they were riding the curtails of us just being in slavery. Now the Lord is taking that curses off of us and he's putting it on the enemies. And I'm going to get into that shortly.
It's not that people are mad anymore. It's that people are just empty. You know, we still wake up, we go to work, we still answer text, we still pay bills, we still laugh at memes sometimes, but something underneath all of that is just gone. And it's not the depression in the way that people think. It's more like realizing this is it. This loop, this pace, this constant feeling like you're behind, even when you're doing everything you were told to do. We just quietly adjusted to less joy, less hope, less expectation from life itself. And that's the part that scares me the most, you know? Because when people are angry, they fight. When people are sad, they ask for help. But when people just go numb, they just survive. They stop dreaming big. They stop imagining different. They stop believing things can actually change. Not because they don't care, but because caring started to hurt too much. So if you've been feeling disconnected lately, you know, unmotivated in a way that sleep doesn't fix, you know, tired even on your days off, there's nothing wrong with you. This is what happens when the pressure never lets up and the expectations never come down. This isn't a call to riot. It's not some motivational bullshit either. You know, it's just me saying this out loud so you know that you're not alone in it. A lot of us are still...
Because he's feeling it. That's the point. He's at a point of venting. You know, that's where a lot of these Edomites are at, because they don't, there's no one to talk to when it comes to this, because their nation is not equipped for hell and the lower level of life. And then now the world is turning against. That's why gold is at $4,500. It takes $4,500 in American money to buy a troy ounce of gold, which a year or two ago cost $1,500, $1,200, $1,100 to buy that same piece of gold with the same dollars. So it's, the dollar is depreciating. If you know how money works, the dollar, the buying power of the dollar is depreciating. So that's showing you the things that the earth is doing, going to the BRICS, going to these other financial movements. They're affecting the U.S. dollar, and you're seeing the fruits of it. You just look at gold and silver. Even now, silver, the same dollars, it costs about $67 to $70 to buy an ounce of silver. So the money in silver was like $30. So if you had a gang of silver, you made shit. You're making a good hand over fist. You know, Jake, we got some silver stored up here and there, but our money has increased. The same silver coins that we got 3-4 years ago has 10x, 50x its value. Okay.
Standing, but, you know, we're just standing quietly right now.
Anybody else not wanting to go out to the stores any longer? Being around people just, it's not the same any longer. It's like your energy gets sucked in somehow. Or if you're in a group of, let's say you're in a huge, I don't know, like crowds of people while you're shopping, you feel like this disconnection that you need to get out of that store. Yeah, that happened to me today.
Let's go through here. This is, I asked chat, so we're going to go through this chat. It says, based on the analyst, I asked chat about Deuteronomy 30 and verse 7, okay? Give me a detailed outline explaining how Lord will punish the enemies of Israelites, and place all the curses on them, and they will feel the same things and go through the same hardships stage as your precepts. And it says, based on the analyst, Deuteronomy 30 and 7 is an immediate context and border framework on Deuteronomy, and the historical background in ancient Near East. Here's a detailed outline explaining the verse. The verse in context, Deuteronomy 30 and 7, text, NIV, the Lord power will put all these curses on your enemies who hate and persecute you. Immediate context, Deuteronomy 30, verse 7, or 31 to 10. This verse is part of Moses' final sermon, specifically within promise of restoration. That's what we're telling you. We're coming in the stead of Moses. Moses was a prophet, okay? And we're telling you the restoration of Israel. We're telling you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are getting ready to be exalted on a high level. It says 30, it says promise of the restoration, chapter 30, purposes the curse of chapter 28 have come to pass. Israel has been defeated and exiled for covenant disobedience. However, it promised that if they repent, return to the Lord, 30 and 2, Yahweh will restore them. Verse 7 is a key element of that restoration. So restoration goes hand in hand with salvation, because the elect is going to be the first of the restored of Israel. We're being restored now with the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, but that's what it say we prophesy in part. We're given this, we don't know the fullness, but the full deliverance, the elect is going to be what? Is going to be privy, and it's going to be opened up to the fullness of salvation. That means knowing the knowledge, wisdom, the laws in our inward parts, all these things that come along with rulership to the Israelites. And it says, our core principle at work is conventional justice, often expressed as a form of poetic justice, or lex talionis, the law of equivalent retribution. Not random punishment. The punishment of Israel's enemies is directly tied to their actions against Israel. So going back to the Edomites, when the Edomites in the time of the Babylonian Empire, where it says that they were just like them, they entered into our gates. So the restoration is when you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are fully put back in power, and Esau pays for the bloodshed that was shed, because not just this land in overseas, these Edomites have defiled the land totally, even in the land of Palestine today. They're knocking off them Arabs. They're knocking them off by the boatload, man. Though the worldwide community is not doing anything, that's still defiling the land. It says the punishment of Israel's enemies is directly tied to their actions against Israel, who is, despite its failure, still Yahweh's covenant people. And that's exactly right. We are the covenant people, regardless what the nations, not the world or anything else. The Lord is calling us back. He's not calling everybody else back. He's not calling, everybody's not going to heed. That's why it says none of the wicked shall understand. It's not something that's being broadcasted on a wide band. It's being broadcasted to those that can hear. If you can hear this, you're going to be able to wake up. You're going to be able to come back. You're going to be able to tighten yourself up. But if it's not for you, you ain't gonna be able to pay attention to it. It's gonna be something you fan your hand at, just like all the other noise. There's plenty of things out here, but there's only one truth. All right, there's plenty of things in the world, but there's only one truth. Just like everything has its kind, the truth has its own vibration. The truth itself has its own. That's why those that deviate from the path, they deviate from the truth. They're out of the wavelength. All right, they're not on the same accord. That's why it says they depart from us, because they were never of us. They were never on our wavelength. All right, and it says the curses defined. All these curses refer explicitly to the detailed covenant curses listed in Deuteronomy 28, 15 to 68. So exactly the right. So all these curses that it's speaking of in Deuteronomy 30 and 7 is going back to the curses of Deuteronomy 28, verse 15 to 68. Okay, so all these things that happen to us are going to take place to our enemies. All right. It says these include military defeat, siege, famine, disease, exile, enslavement, madness, and cosmic terror. What's the cosmic terror? Chariots. So-called UFOs. Those are the cosmic terrors that are going to come down on Esau, man. Because how is Babylon the Great going to be judged? And now, after that, the earth is going to be acclimated to UFO sighting. They're not going to have to guess. It's going to be broadcasted. The Lord's going to show himself. The Israelites, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are going to be called up, in angelical vehicles and into a big, huge vehicle. So the world is going to be more, they're going to know it exists. They're not going to wonder, and they're going to know that it's more than existing. It's having a hand in the earth because it's taking out a superpower. When the angels deliver the elect, and by Yahweh Shai also, the world is going to know that the angels, they call them UFOs, but the angels have dictatorship over the planet Earth when it comes to its seniority. All right, they got the power. That's why they're going to take Babylon out in an hour. Hey, that was a rhyme. They got the power. They're going to take Babylon out in an hour. So the world's going to see. They're not going to wonder. They're just going to be like, what the hell happened? They're going to see that these, whatever the ships, they want to call it, the clouds, they're going to take this place out and they're going to deliver the elect, and the world is going to witness something they've never witnessed before. On top of that, the nuclear holocaust. It says the enemies who inflicted these very conditions on Israel, siege, exile, etc., will now experience them firsthand as the oppressor. They will become the oppressed. Their hatred and persecution of Israel becomes the reason the covenant curses activate against them. That's what you see. Historical and theological. It says background. Deuteronomy is structured like ancient Hittites and Assyrians sojourned vessel treaties with a great king. Let's see here. I don't want to go through all that. The main point is hit. All right. You can see that the Lord is putting these curses on these Edomites at a high level. This is the book of Deuteronomy 30 and verse 7. It says, the Lord power will inflict all these curses on your enemies and those who hate thee and persecute you. So it's telling us that the Lord's going to put all these curses, all these things that have taken place to us on a high level. He's going to put it on our enemies, man. All right. And it says, let's go down here. Let's get this. And this is one of the curses, Zechariah 14 and 12. It says, then this is the plague in which the Lord will strike all the nations that fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh will rot while they are standing on their feet. Their eyes will rot in their sockets, and their tongues will rot in their mouths. And that's where you get nuclear warfare from. And that's what's going to be a major, major turning point in the planet Earth as soon as the judgment comes down, man. All right? Because the earth is going to be still, just like when Hiroshima and Nagasaki went off. Everybody was still that. The day after, everybody was chilled out because they realized that the weapons like this existed. So the judgment to come is going to still the earth. It's going to make it still. All right, just like the flood made the earth still. After that, it was only Noah and his family. That was it. No other spirits were on the earth, man. All right. So Lord wants to edify a lesson with that. I said, call Allah, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Until the next time I say Shalom, and more, and I'll never keep faith. Shalom.